It's holy matrimony, love wrapped in grace, honesty the cornerstone, openness embrace, transparency the power to make it through, Christ in the center, making all things new. Welcome to the base camp.
Hey guys, welcome to Marriage Base Camp. I'm Shelly, and I'm here with the guy who can totally build a campfire in the rain, but still doesn't know how to fold my sleeping shirts.
Why do you fold them that way anyway?
Because they fit better.
I mean, I think you might be overlooking the fact that I try to fold them.
You do. Good job.
And they've never complained. They've never once complained how I fold them.
That is true. They actually have never complained.
Yeah, the shirts themselves.
That's because they're too old. I'm kidding.
Okay. Well, welcome to Marriage Base Camp. As you can see, we're starting off the day with a little conflict already. And so today we are tackling something that every couple faces, and that is conflict. But specifically, the difference between conflict and combat. That's what we're talking about today because there is a difference there. And before we get started, we want to remind you that you can send in your questions that we will try to cover in a future podcast. And just simply send an email with your question to podcast@marriagebasecamp.com.
Yeah. So this topic, we want to ground ourselves in Philippians 2:3-4, which says, "Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves." I feel like if we could maybe just like somehow tattoo this into our brain, 90% of marital fights and disagreements would disappear.
Yeah, because look what it said. Don't be selfish.
Yeah,
Don't be conceited.
that's a lot.
Be humble and count your spouse as more significant than you.
That's daily dying to yourself.
So do that and then have the conversation. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's hard to do, but
It is.
You're right. A lot of the problems would, I think, disappear.
Yeah. And when it comes to conflict versus combat, a lot of couples think the goal is to avoid conflict completely, like no fighting, no tension, no disagreements. And they assume that means they're healthy. And we've seen that in some couples.
Yeah.
So.
And it's just a really weak benchmark for success. Like,
Yeah.
to think we never disagree. And so therefore we're somehow healthy or our relationship is healthy. Well, maybe, probably not. I mean, a corpse never disagrees with anyone either,
Dang.
but
It's true.
they're dead.
Yeah.
Honestly, I only think that there are a few groups of people that quote never have conflict.
Okay.
I think if you ever hear anybody say that, I think they fall into one of these categories. Number one, maybe they're newlyweds still in that honeymoon fog.
Yeah. It's true.
And everything is just perfect and, they've never done anything wrong,
Really?
all the things.
Overlook a lot.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's maybe they have a very high idealism. And so in other words, that's the rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
And so this is when one spouse is like, I know he yelled at me, but he's really under a lot of stress. And so it's okay that he yelled at me. Well, he might be under a lot of stress, and it's probably not okay that he yelled at you. And so, or maybe they're in this category. They're just married roommates. They've just given up. It's just marriage incorporated at that point, and they're just making sure the bills are getting paid, making sure little Timmy gets to the soccer game, just logistics at that point.
That's rough.
And so for the rest of us, and I dare say the majority of us, those who actually do struggle with conflict from time to time, if you're married, you've endured this. You've fought about everything from, the thermostat temperature to which way the toilet paper roll should be facing.
Those are both really good. Yeah.
Yeah. And I am hardcore team over when it comes to toilet paper. So just let you know. Anyway, this is important. What I'm about to say, we believe, is so important. It's worth the admission that you paid to listen to this podcast. Okay. And so here it is. A lack of conflict doesn't always mean harmony. It could mean significant avoidance.
100%.
So it could mean that you simply just avoid having conversations, especially the ones that are going to go out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a triggering conversation. So you just don't have it, because if you don't have it, guess what? No conflict.
Yeah.
Everything is good, right?
Yeah.
Avoidance. It may seem like a good idea in the moment, but it actually keeps issues buried like little emotional landmines that will explode later on, usually at the worst time.
And it's just building resentment. And it's always fun when those things erupt, and like Thanksgiving with the family or in the middle of Christmas.
Yeah, you get in those little arguments about who was supposed to pick up the milk.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, someone's yelling out, "I hate your mother." And you're like, how did we get here? What is this about? So those little emotional landmines absolutely will explode at some point later on. And so, like you said, holidays, Thanksgiving.
The stress is already high enough.
The stress is high, and then boom, somebody says the one thing.
Right.
Shrapnel goes everywhere. So, you thought you were arguing about the president's policies, and no. Turns out you're actually fighting about how you never make me feel valued.
Mm.
And so if you often say this, we never fight or we never argue, right? So if this is you, listen up. That might not, and probably is not, a healthy reality.
Yeah.
You may be deceiving yourself. Or even if it is true, it may be a sign of significant avoidance. On the other side, there are those couples who would swear to you, all we ever do is fight. The time we open up our eyes, the time we go to bed, it's just fight. It's 24/7 life in the octagon. Yeah. And this is like blood sport. Like, we got glass and people are bleeding, and it's just, that's all we ever do is fight. And they think because they fight so much that their relationship is therefore dead. It's over. Yeah. It's irreparable. And they believe, because they have that constant conflict, that, like I said, their relationship is doomed. It's failing. But here's another truth that's worth the admission to this podcast. Disagreement in your marriage isn't a sign that your marriage is dying. In fact, it's probably a sign that it's alive.
Yeah.
So that's the hope. That's the encouragement. If this is you guys, it might be a sign. Well, I would say this. It's absolutely a sign that you both need communication skills.
Right.
But don't mistake it for failure. It might just mean that you are both so still invested in the marriage that you're willing to fight for it.
Yeah.
You just don't know how.
Absolutely. And and if you didn't care, honestly, you wouldn't bother. You'd probably just shrug your shoulders and walk away. And that's like emotional frostbite. That's rough. And
emotional frostbite. I like that.
It's wintertime. No conflict can be bad, and all conflict can be a good sign, but we need to find a healthy medium. And the truth is, healthy couples don't eliminate conflict, they steward it. And that's a huge, I'm just going to read that again.
Say that.
Healthy couples don't eliminate conflict, they steward it. That is totally different. They see it as a tool, like how God refines us in 1 Peter, or how iron sharpens iron in Proverbs 27:17. Sharpening produces sparks. If you've ever seen that, sharpening knives or swords, things like that, like sparks fly. And sparks aren't bad. They just need to be handled in the right way. Because sparks, they can burn down a forest, and they can also ignite a warm campfire. And just a side note, I just thought about this as we were talking, like when you say something to your spouse and they immediately go to defensiveness, just stop and ask, what did you hear me say? Because most of the time they heard something very different than what you just said. And so if they get triggered, they get defensive immediately, just stop. What did you just hear me say? So that's just a side little. I thought about that as we were talking through this.
Yeah, you mentioned refining from First Peter.
Yeah,
Like the refining process usually takes fire
it does.
and heat and just you're burning out all
Right.
of those impurities.
Well, what do they do like in the forest? Don't they like set it on fire to like it goes back greener?
Oh yeah,
Isn't that a thing?
the controlled burning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's totally on fire.
Yeah. I mean it's a seemingly harmful thing for perfectly good reasons.
Yeah.
Healthy reasons.
Yeah.
You got to burn all that underbrush
Mhm.
because if you don't and that fire sweeps through there, it's all going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it actually grows back greener. So
Yeah.
fire can be a good thing.
So let's take a poll.
Okay.
All right. So be honest. Raise your hand. Now we have ways of seeing. So our AI bots
Yeah.
will tell us if you raised your hand or
Oh.
not. Not really, but it's fun. So here's a poll. 3 options. So answer, everybody listening, answer which one of these 3 options. How many of you grew up in homes where conflict happened right out in the open? Like your living room doubled as a pay-per-view boxing ring. And
That'd be
Shelly
me.
would raise her hand
Yes.
on that one. How many of you grew up in a home where conflict happened sort of behind closed doors in hushed, whispered tones, maybe very mysterious conversations that you never saw take place? It was sort of like your parents were part of the CIA. So I would say that was me.
Yeah.
Okay. Not that none of these others could have happened at some point, but
Right.
primarily when it came to conflict.
Right.
And then the third option, how many of you grew up where conflict wasn't talked about at all?
Mm.
It just sort of disappeared after a few days, like a sock
they just
coming
gave-
out of the dryer that you
Just
never
gave each other like the silent treatments that you're talking about. Like nobody just talked for a few days. And all
Yeah,
of a
it
sudden,
just
Yeah.
it was like nothing, and then everything was back to normal.
Yeah.
And
That's confusing.
like what happened. Now, FYI, just a little information. If you grew up in a home like that, I promise you probably deal with people pleasing.
No.
Because little you
Mhm.
had to learn to navigate everyone's unspoken emotions, and
So-
you became an expert at it.
So what happens if you grew up in number 1 and number 3? You need lots of therapy. I'm just
Y-
kidding.
You,
That's
you
totally me.
yeah, you turn 50 and
You're still in therapy. That's true.
you're a lifelong therapy
That's right.
member.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like we all saw all of these.
Yeah. At
From
some
time to
point.
time.
Totally.
Yeah. I do think there's typically one though that was sort of the standard operating procedure that we kind of grew up
Yes.
with. And so now, if you're by your spouse right now, take note of how they answered, which one of those that they grew up in. If not, then later on, talk about it with your spouse and figure out which one they grew up in versus which one you grew up in. And just let that in itself be a revelation to you.
Yeah.
Because you might have grown up where it was World War III in the kitchen. And so that determines how you want to deal with things. Typically, you want to deal with them right then. Let's talk about it. Let's get it over with.
Right.
And your spouse may have grown up where all the battles were fought in some secret bedroom. And so they want to kind of seclude the argument. Let's don't talk in front of everybody, in front of the kids. Let's just, go away on a trip and then talk about it kind of thing. Can you see how just those 2 differing styles is going to cause conflict between you?
Yes.
It absolutely will.
Absolutely.
So now when that happens, you're not only fighting about the issue, you're fighting about how each of you want to handle fighting about the issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a downward spiral of suckery at that point.
It's true.
I would say this, here's another side note, tip, if you will. Try to avoid having significant arguments in your bedroom
Mm-hmm.
if you can avoid it, because the bedroom, and we'll probably get into this on a different podcast, the bedroom ought to be your sanctuary.
Yes.
It ought to be your safe place. And you don't want to have all your hard, heated conversation, arguments, fights in your bedroom because, well, I mean, let's just be honest. Later on, when it's not fighting time and you're wanting to be a little romantic in bed or something, you don't want to be sitting there thinking, the last time I sat right here, you called me a jackass. Because now that's in your head.
True. Yeah.
And you can't be romantic the way you want to be romantic. And so
Right.
you got to protect that space. And I would just say, there are other places that aren't a good place to fight. The kitchen's not a good place. Too many sharp objects that can be thrown around. The garage isn't a good place. Too many heavy objects. By the way, quick little plug. If we actually have a resource on our website, marriagebasecamp.com, under resources, called How to Fight Fair. And so if you want some of these tips on when to fight, how to fight, where to fight, all those sorts of things, check that out. How to Fight Fair on marriagebasecamp.com.
Awesome. Can we add one more question to our poll?
Yeah.
How many of you would say you are conflict avoiders? Like, this was totally me. Early on in our marriage, I would like avoid at all costs. And then there would be that final straw, whatever happened. And then, like we said, it would just explode into a volcano, which always led to combat, like immediately. And I think for wives, I'm just going to call this one out, these little thoughts. Well, if he does something or doesn't respond the way you want him to, fine, I'll do it myself. He doesn't care anyway. That only gets you to combat and resentment. Like, you have to stop your thought process when those things come up. At least for me, I did. When those thoughts came up, I was like, no, that's not true, actually. Like, I would have to turn it around and resist the devil, basically. So
because I've already lost 17 arguments that you had in your mind.
Yes.
That I was unaware of.
True. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I did that a lot, girl.
You did that?
No, it's fine. That's
wow. Good. I never did anything like that.
Nope. I just want to help you reframe your whole understanding of conflict. When people say, I hate conflict, what they usually mean is I hate fighting, which would totally be me.
That part.
Yeah. It's not really conflict they dislike. It's combat. So don't run from conflict. Rather, conflict can be really an opportunity to grow. And like James 1:2 says, literally, like, tell us to see trials as conflict versus just battles. Like, you can grow. Those are opportunities to grow personally and in your marriage. So if conflict is an opportunity for growth, and you constantly avoid conflict, then really what you're doing is you're avoiding opportunities for growth. Absolutely.
Which equals you not growing.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all not healthy there. So in order to make this super practical, using an example from the trail, because marriage really does feel like hiking a trail sometimes. Picture this. You're on a hike together, you and your spouse. You're tired, you're thirsty, and then you realize that you've been off the trail, at least off the trail you wanted to be on, for about 2 miles.
That's rough.
Yeah, up until this point, I mean, it's been good. Like, you've had fun, you're talking, you're hiking, the scenery is cool. You've just been doing all that in the wrong direction.
That's good. Yeah.
Okay, so at that point, you have a choice. You can choose conflict, or you can choose combat. Now, choosing conflict in the moment like that would sound something like, hey, okay, look, we're off the trail. We clearly took a wrong turn somewhere. Let's figure out where we went wrong and get back on track. So are you good? Do you need a water break? Like, are you ready to backtrack and figure this thing out? Okay. That's choosing conflict. Okay. It's honest. It's necessary. It names the problem very clearly. It looks for solutions, and you're still on the same team facing the same trail. You could also choose combat in that moment, that you realize that you've been going wrong for the last 2 miles. And choosing combat in that situation would sound something like this. I told you we should have checked the map. Like, why didn't you download that All Trails map on your phone before we left the trailhead, you idiot, you know?
Yeah.
Why do I have to be the only one who knows where we're going? Or you always do this. Every time we hike, you make it about yourself or something like that. Is immediately choosing combat. So you go from fighting the trail you're on to fighting each other.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the mountain is not the problem anymore. Your pride is. And submitting to your pride is way harder.
It really is.
Than summiting a 14er.
Yeah.
Like, that pride is going to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
That it's going to keep you lost.
It will kill your marriage. Totally.
Yeah.
And keep you off the trail.
Conflict says, let's fix the problem. Combat says, let's place the blame.
Yeah.
Who's at fault?
Yeah.
And why is it not me? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So conflict gets you back on the right trail. Combat, it just gets you, I don't know, sleeping back to back in the tent.
Yeah, that's not good.
Angry,
Yeah.
mad, frustrated.
Yeah, and honestly, let's be honest. Every couple has missed the turn and you're a few miles off and then you realize it. So we've all been there. And the key is deciding whether, like you said, you're going to tackle the problem or tackle each other.
Right. In conflict,
that's huge.
Yeah, you learn humility, grace, patience, love. In combat, you just learn how to block a punch.
Yeah.
Or defend yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, wax on, wax off kind of thing.
Yeah. Here's the big truth we want couples to hear. The goal of conflict is intimacy. The goal of combat is just simply for victory. You just want to win. So, man, just to know that conflict really does lead to intimacy. I think most people haven't experienced that. They've really just, combat. They're just wanting to tackle each other, I think, most of the time. So,
yeah. And you can absolutely win a fight and lose your spouse's heart at the same time.
Absolutely.
So ask yourself in those off the trail moments of marriage, hey, am I trying to understand here or am I trying to dominate? Am I approaching this with a Philippians 2 humility?
Yeah.
Or with the swagger of a UFC fighter? So because healthy conflict moves you closer to one another.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Combat, it just pushes you apart.
It does. It really, really does. Think about how many fights start with just little tiny things like how long is too long to leave your jacket in the kitchen, or the whole dishwasher thing.
Whoa, this is sounding a little personal here.
The one like if you can put your dishes in the sink, why can't you put them in the dishwasher? Like just those little things start adding up.
Yeah, I think what I hear you say is that most conflict isn't really about the issue. It's
Correct.
Usually about what's happening under the surface.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of like the question where you ask, what's wrong? And she says, nothing, which I've learned means something is absolutely wrong and I should probably know what it is.
Or he says, I'm fine, which really means I want you to keep asking me, but I don't want to tell you, but keep asking me about it.
Yeah.
It's just like, just know how you're feeling.
Yeah. Conflict it's often two people trying desperately to feel known, understood, or valued. Yes. But too many times we use methods of combat and we just end up sabotaging the whole thing. Mm-hmm. One of the verses that we've used a lot in conferences is the first part of 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 5. It says, all of you clothe yourselves with humility towards one another. Meaning, put on humility almost like a base layer before you even leave the tent. Because if you don't have it, then everything you're wearing is going to rub the wrong way. You're going to get chaffed and it's just going to hurt. You need that base layer of humility in order for everything else to fit. And if you're not sure what humility looks like, here's one way. It looks like you admitting, I might not be right.
That's going to be difficult for some people.
I think that's going to be difficult for everybody.
That's true. Yeah, it is.
It's going to be very difficult for a lot of people, but man, it's just an
Yeah.
unnatural stance
Yeah.
to say, maybe I'm not the right one here.
I think humility draws out you just wanting to understand your spouse.
Yeah.
Like that's humility. And yeah. So
Yeah.
go ahead, sorry.
Well, pride, on the other hand, all it wants is to be right. Pride
Yeah.
says, not that maybe you're right. Pride says, I'm
Fine.
definitely right. And here are exhibits A through Z as to why.
You're just, you're tackling each other.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to play a little game?
Sure.
Combat or conflict. I'm going to say a sentence and you tell me if it's full of healthy conflict or hurtful combat.
Okay.
All right. You never help around the house. I'm basically raising you.
Wait, we're playing the game now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to
Wow.
manage expectations here.
That's good.
Okay. Say that again.
You hang on. You never help around here. I'm basically raising you.
Yeah.
Like
That's
yeah.
combat.
Yeah.
100%.
Here's a good one. You always leave the garage door open because you don't listen to anything I ever say.
Combat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's one. Can we talk about our budget? I want to make sure we're on the same page.
That's conflict.
Yeah. I need a few minutes to calm down, but I do want to finish this conversation.
That's conflict. Yeah. That's a good sentence.
If you actually cared, you would see how much I do around here.
That's combat.
Yeah. You're the reason the kids act like this.
Also combat.
Here's a good one. Can we talk through our expectations for this weekend?
That's conflict.
Yeah. And that's a good one. Like,
yeah. In all those scenarios, I think the ones that were combat laden, I think all the ones you mentioned all included the word you.
Yep.
Like it was very accusatory.
Mm-hmm.
Like the word
or
you.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah. Always or never, you, like all those things, those are just very accusatory terms.
Yeah.
And the other ones, I believe, had words like I or we or me or, can we. It was disarming.
Yeah.
And so some of you guys are fighting just because you're using the wrong words. What's a problem in your marriage right now that could be solved simply by you choosing to use different words?
True. I like you always leave the garage door open because you don't ever listen to anything I say. I read that and I'm thinking,
yeah,
somebody's just not feeling valued or heard.
That has nothing to do about that garage door.
No. I'm like, listen to the underlying, what's really being said.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So how about a summit challenge for this week?
All right.
You want to give it to us?
Sure. All right. So sometime this week, sit down together and answer these 3 questions. Number 1, what is one small conflict we tend to avoid? So we really just stay away from that. Number 2, what is one way I can slip into combat instead of healthy conflict? So basically, are you being triggered? And what is one thing I can do to approach conflict with humility this week?
Okay, those are good questions. So I will repeat them.
Good.
What is one small conflict that we tend to avoid?
Yep.
What is one way that I slip into combat instead of healthy conflict?
Mm-hmm.
And what is one thing I can do to approach conflict with humility this week?
Yes.
Those would be really good questions to ask each other. They're important questions. Because the last thing you want to happen when you're having a discussion about conflict versus combat is for that discussion to turn into hand-to-hand combat. And so keep it honest, but yet keep it light. Keep it gentle. If that makes sense.
And if you're like, yeah, we always avoid that conflict and it's going to turn into combat, then maybe get another couple that you trust who can help you through those things. Like, if you can't trust yourselves, you're immediately going to go to combat.
Yeah. I you said that and it reminded me of, somebody did a study. Okay. How about that for research? Somebody did a study
That's good.
and they graphed conflict, like marriage tension
Mm-hmm.
versus times married.
Okay.
So in other words, they said how much are people how much tension is in a marriage versus how many times that person has been married. And the graph, if you looked at it, it's not like a normal bell curve graph that you might see. It's very much like marriage tension very high on first marriage.
Oh.
And then like you get down to like fifth marriage and the marriage tension is very low.
Huh.
And so it's kind of deceiving because you look at it and you think, well, to have, little marriage tension, I just need to go marry 4 other people, and then by that 5th one, I won't have any marriage tension. And so it's a little misleading, but what they did is they dug down further into those numbers and into that research. And what they found is those people, by the time they had that 5th marriage, they had just quit caring. They had started avoiding, or they had learned what things trigger the tension and they just avoided it. And so, it would be like, touching your hand to the stove. You're going to do that the first time and it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that when, several years later because you've learned not to do that.
Right.
Same thing happens in these marriages. They get in their first marriage. They don't have communication skills. They're fighting for the marriage. Tension is high. Combat is going crazy. And they think this is horrible.
Yeah.
Well, then they get divorced. They marry someone else, find out the same things happen. Fast forward, it's their 5th marriage.
That's crazy.
And then they're like, you know what? It's just not worth it anymore. This is not worth the conversation. It's not worth the fight. And so they just kind of give up.
They beat down dog or something.
Yes. They just
Wonderful.
roll over and let you pat their belly, And you think, yeah, but there's no tension. There's no life.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like dead.
Yeah. So be careful what studies you look at, what graphs you look at. So
That's crazy.
these are small steps that we're talking about, but the small steps are important.
Yeah.
Because small steps lead to high places. And similarly, conflict handled with humility can lead to significant connection.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you for listening. That's all we have for time for today, but thanks for tuning in. And just remember, if you have questions, we would love to try to answer those on the podcast. You can email those in at podcast@marriagebasecamp.com. That's podcast@marriagebasecamp.com.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to the Marriage Base Camp podcast. Do us a favor, share this with somebody that is in your life who you think might could benefit from it. And remember, toilet paper goes over the top the way Jesus intended. Until next time, guys, stay humble, stay curious, stay on the same trail.
See you guys.
Welcome to the Base Camp. From Genesis to Revelation, His love is the guide. Every vow, every moment, we lay down our pride. His mercy's the melody, our heart's the refrain. Through sunshine and shadow, our love will remain. This holy matrimony, love wrapped in grace. Honesty the cornerstone, openness embrace. Transparency's the power to make it through. Christ in the center, making all things new.